Who's that? You?
Gary.
Thanks. Call this meeting to order. Please stand. Please be seated. And welcome to our council meeting. It is Tuesday, November the 18th. It's 5 p.m. and we are in council chambers.
We are guests on the shared traditional land of the Haudenosaunee, Wendat, and Anishinaabe people, where they built their homes and raised their families. We appreciate the lands for the food, water, air, plants, trees, and medicines they give us. We value the land by swimming and boating, working, camping, and exploring the forests.
So this is your last time doing that this month. So just wanted to thank the students who helped you. Do you want to say anything about it?
Sure, so it was Miss Peggy Edwards, I believe you know her. I was her and her class generated this
Yeah.
acknowledgement together, so we say it at school every day, so.
Yeah, very, very nice. Thank you. And thank you to them. Let them know that we really appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, we're at item number 4, which is the adoption of the agenda. It's moved by Councillor Card, seconded by Councillor Crapper, that the agenda of November 18th, 2025 meeting of council be adopted as presented. Any additions? Call the question. All in favor? Carried. Any declarations of conflict or pecuniary interest tonight? Seeing none. Item number 6.1 is the adoption of the minutes. It's moved by Councillor Crapper, seconded by Councillor Card, that the minutes of the October 28th council and November 4th, 2025 committee of the whole meetings be received and adopted. Any errors or omissions? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. This brings us to item number 7, motions and resolutions, and 7.1 is the meeting schedule for 2026. It's moved by Councillor Card, seconded by Councillor Crapper. The council approves the 2026 meeting schedule as presented at the November 4th, 2025 committee of the whole meeting. And just a reminder to the public that this is our council meeting, and generally speaking, items like this and other things that we're going to talk about tonight are debated 2 weeks previous to council at our committee of the whole. Everything is live streamed and it's posted on our YouTube site. So if you I'm not remembering any in-depth discussion about that topic, but certainly for some of the others. So a general comment to the public, if you're wondering what was the debate about something, a matter on council agenda tonight, you can check out what we recorded that is on our website. So I'll just call the question. There's no changes or anything. We're all good. Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Item 8 are staff reports. And 8.1 is use of public property policy. And it's moved by Councillor Crapper, seconded by Councillor Card, that council pass a bylaw to regulate the use of public property. This is a little unusual. It's the first time that you're seeing it, but it replaces other bylaws that we know have not worked. And staff have spoken to legal counsel, and they have said that the 1987 84 bylaw that was in place had no teeth. So if we, when we've had some issues on municipal property, that the challenge would be, there's not much that we can do. So that's what this bylaw does. It replaces some that we've looked at and know are not working. So any questions or comments? Councillor Aragona and then Councillor Crapper.
So I'm wondering about I understand the need for the update and we'll support that, but just wondering if there's two word choices within the bylaw that I'm wondering if they may be a little bit too ambiguous. Through section 4, we're using the word remain quite a lot. And although it says up above it that there's no camping allowed on the property, the word remain seems to be used, and I'm wondering if that's a little bit too ambiguous. And then the second one is the use of the phrase must be under the control of the owner in section 5. I'm thinking that control of the owner could be misinterpreted or can mean multiple things. So wondering if maybe that should be specific. So not directly a question, just a comment.
So the first one was for what?
Section 4, the use of the word remain.
Where is it? 1, 2, 3, or 4? Hours of operation, is that where it is? Or is it a definition?
Definition, no, not the definition, sorry, not in the definition, but in the actual wording of the bylaw itself. Section 4, through subsection 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're using the word remain throughout. And then the other one was in section 5, right below it.
5 is a legal term, like, I'm sorry, under the control of the owner, that's a legal term. That's used in other pieces of legislation that we have as well, dogs and things like that. So I'm not, I'm sharing with you, there is a clear understanding in court what that means.
Okay.
So I'm not concerned about that. If they weren't under the control of the owner, that would be an easy issue to prove. Is it still I'm just missing the first one. It's the definition of camping.
No, it's the use of the word remain. No person shall, without the approval of the CAO, remain in the park. So what does that mean, remain in the park? If I loiter for an extra hour, is that considered contravention of the bylaw? I'm thinking it might be just a little bit ambiguous.
What would you substitute? Stay?
Well, I think my thought was to tie it directly to the camping of any kind expressly prohibited, just reinforce that within the subsection.
Okay, so let's make sure we're all on the same, literally the same page. Those of you who are on computer, this is section 4. The title is hours of operation. Is that what you're looking at?
Yes,
Yes, okay. And there's 4 sections to that. And the first section says no person shall, without the approval of the CAO, remain in any park or parking lot between certain hours, except as a participant or spectator of a function approved by the CAO or designate. So they may not be camping. They may be camping, but they may be doing other things in the
They may
park.
be doing other things. in the park. Does that mean that they can't stay in the park? If I want to go and, if anybody wants to go and stand there for an hour, is that remaining in the park?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it is. Unless you can give us a substitute, I think it's clear to us what it means, so we're not maybe understanding what you'd like to see instead.
Don't have a suggestion as to what to word it as. I just think it's still a little bit ambiguous. Remaining in the park could be anything.
Okay. Did you have others?
Just those two.
Okay. Anybody else? Councilor Crapper, sorry.
So if I'm interpreting this properly, a person cannot walk their dog in the park after 11 p.m.
Correct.
That seems unusual to me, to take a public space. I'm not sure what the problems are we've been facing, to be frank, but if people now cannot walk their dog in Lockwood Park after 11 p.m., I struggle with that.
CEO?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, this is sort of the first kick at the can. There's not any urgency to pass it this evening, so any suggestions you might have, I can bring back to the December 2nd committee of the whole meeting. And then we can discuss the changes and then alter it so that it works best for the village.
Okay, Anything else to look at then? Councillor Craig?
To your worship, I think we should concentrate on the do nots. Like, don't tear up the footpath with your bicycle, don't, you know, all the things that, there's gotta be some kind of wording there that separates the good from the bad, and, you know, I agree with the Councillor Aragona and, Councillor Crapper that walking your dog should not be a no-no, because, I live right at the edge of the park and I see all kinds of people walking through there at 11:30 at night with their dog and not causing any commotion or problem. It's the things I see in the park that disturb me that I think we should concentrate on. Like damage to property, damage to washrooms, damage to the footpath, drinking and other things.
Okay. So I'm hearing from Councillor Card, more parochial language rather than some of the language that's used in this. Go ahead.
Through you, Madam Mayor, if council is amenable to changing remaining in to loitering, the express meaning of loitering is to stand or wait around idly without apparent purpose. If you're walking a dog, obviously it's apparent that that's your purpose of being there. If you're, just taking a walk yourself, it's apparent you're doing something. Loitering is more kind of hanging around and not really without purpose. So I can substitute that if council wants to see that.
So we need a definition as well.
Yeah.
And Councillor Cardy first, and then I'll come back.
Sure, just along the lines of a fine up to $2,000, would a person receive a warning first? Is that how that's going to happen, and will it be laid out for them beforehand, like in this policy?
So like any legislation, there's discretion with the bylaw enforcement or police who are gonna investigate, so it would depend on the circumstance.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to include in legislation that you get a warning first time. It would be the discretion of the individual and the circumstances.
Okay.
This isn't, like all the rest of the bylaws, this isn't intended for us to go out and look in the park for people. It's when we get a complaint, because we're complaint driven, when we get a complaint and we want to take some action, to have a bylaw that allows us to take action. I was coming back to you, Councillor Aragona.
Yeah, I'm just responding to the CEO's question. I agree with making it a little bit more specific with the word loitering. That might address the ambiguity that I see in there. And it would address what Councillor Crapper was referring to about people walking their dog after 11. So I think that would work.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I can see why the simplest solution is say no one's going in there, because then you don't have to define. But of course, like what we're hearing is that seems stringent on a public park that gets used. But loitering, for example, if kids are sitting around partying, they're doing something it's probably not loitering officially, but.
But
they're
that's
doing
covered in other ways.
Yeah, okay,
I think you have a read.
Yeah,
And see
yeah.
if that's covered in other ways. My
I think my
intuition is
real
it
point
is.
is, I think it's going to be a challenge no matter what, to come to balance both. And it does come down to the policing element, and if it's gonna be, based on comments from people, complaints from
Complaints.
people.
Mhm.
Yeah, but those complaints are going to be of things that are happening, as Councillor Card says, that are problematic.
Correct.
People drinking, people screaming, breaking things, whatever. So if we can identify the things, and maybe even in the report to us or in the discussions, an outline of what have been the significant types of things that have yielded, have led us to this, because I know there's been some camping stuff, but I'm not aware what the issues have been. If we can identify those things that seem to be constant and problematic, then. And maybe have a sign that says, no camping, no drinking, can they smoke pot but not drink? Like, it's, that seems weird to me too.
Part of the challenge is there have been occasions where there's property damage occurring and people give chase to those who are committing the property damage, but if you don't catch them in the act, so this will help with that as well.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some things. Tiffany.
I was just wondering, and walk through the park, you notice like we have the sign for the ballpark and whatever, the rules for that. And then I know there's a bylaw at the bottom of that will a lot of that be transferred to this current bylaw?
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you through you, Madam Mayor. So specific provisions related to no dogs running at large will remain. That bylaw will have to still be on whatever signage we put there. But then this bylaw will be referenced, should council pass it, for the other provisions that will enforce, like no drinking, no loitering, things like that, no camping.
Just
Yeah.
one more thing that I.
No motorized vehicles, I just want to say that for Councillor Carter, that there's no motorized vehicles allowed in there, there's the section covers bicycles or something, but not e-bikes. So, you know, I think we got
I
it.
understand.
Do you have an
We
e-bike?
might not have got every piece right, but I think we got that piece right.
Yeah, yeah. What was my other question there? I think we've covered it in the,
Okay, and this will come back,
Yeah,
it'll likely come
yeah,
back to committee in December. So we'll just, let's make this motion. The council, defer the bylaw to regulate the use of public property to December committee of the whole. And that's for councillors Crapper and Carter, okay with that change?
Yep.
To December committee of the whole. If you got any other ideas in the meantime, you could perhaps let staff know.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna call that question for the deferral then. All in favor? Carrie, thanks so much, folks. 8.2, Public Works Emergency Preparedness and 2024 Compliance Letter. It's moved by Councillor Card, seconded by Councillor Crapper, that council receives the report entitled Public Works Emergency Preparedness and 2024 Compliance Letter for information purposes. People have probably got like tens of questions from Mr. Monahan, so I'll take them in order of hands. Councillor Crapper.
I will just say congratulations. It's nice to be included in the success stories of the of municipalities that all have to submit and be compliant. It's nice that we're
Compliant.
compliant.
It's very nice.
Mm.
You can imagine, it's just a little embarrassing to me when we're not, to me.
And not all municipalities were. I mean, that's
They weren't all
shocking.
not former police chiefs. Right?
Right.
Right. All right, I'll call the question. All in favor? Carried. Okay, 8.2. Okay, Sir Crapper signed that. He was probably smiling and I missed it. The council approved the final design of the exterior accessible ramp layout and interior modifications to the Westport Library facility, and the council delegate authority for the project to Public Works for completion in an amount not to exceed the trillion grant received for the project. It's kind of the first time that we've delegated that authority. So it doesn't come without a lot of foresight by staff, but I think they just want to get it done. They've got money to spend, it's grant money, and we would love to get that done for the end of the year. I'm just looking at Peter. He smiled. Okay, Councillor Card and then Councillor Crapper.
yeah, looking at the design, I recall that there were some problems about where reception was as opposed to where the kids were, and I think they've dealt with that
Yeah.
problem successfully, and the overall design in my mind looks pretty exciting.
Yeah, very exciting. Councillor Crapper.
A couple of questions. One comment that was there were amendments to the original had to be made to discuss with the fire code. I was asked if you could speak to what that was specifically.
So more of a general, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
More of a general compliance statement is that a lot of these restrictions were based on not just municipal policy, it was based on code related to building and
So not a specific change that's identified in the plan.
Okay, we can't hardly hear you, just so that they can pick it up at home.
Oh,
Could you speak a
okay,
little
yes.
louder? Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering if there was anything significant in that we didn't notice. There's nothing we noticed in looking at the design that was a change, but so anything you want to point out?
Go ahead.
Yeah, nothing on point of your worship, it's just not to push us in this direction always,
Yeah.
those code pieces, so.
Okay, go ahead.
I also was, where are we at? And you commented on the heated, so it's a concrete ramp up the side. And because it's concrete, having it this heated so that snow doesn't accumulate would be ideal. Would you say that is, are there options that you're looking into that seem like they might be affordable or?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's exactly what I've heard, there are a couple of options that do seem affordable and possible.
Okay,
We're still trying to get those nailed across, but the prep work can still continue right up to that point of force, so.
thank you.
So should it, so we're giving, delegating authority for the project to Public Works. But I think if it becomes known that money is the challenge to the possibility that you and Councillor Crawford just talked about, I'm not making any promises, but I think that requires a conversation back here.
You're
Fair
right.
enough?
Yeah,
Yeah,
if it's
okay.
a dollar figure amount specific for an item that would be beneficial, I think it would stop to bring it back to council ASAP.
Okay.
Make those.
Yeah, good. All right, that satisfies your people
Great,
too?
yeah.
Okay, anybody, anything else? Okay, I'll call the question, all in favor, and that's carried. Great. 8.4 is pre-budget approval for, I should say this very softly, Spring Street paving. Because everybody who lives on Spring Street or uses Spring Street will be cheering when they hear this part. But you get nervous, but that's okay. Moved by Councillor Card, seconded by Councillor Crawford, that council of the village of Westport direct staff to engage G. Tackleberry and Sons Construction to complete the paving of Spring Street between George and Church in the spring of 2026 in an amount not to exceed $100,000 plus HST. Councillor Card.
Through your worship, Peter, does that include removing the pavements there? It's just on an overpave, is it? They're gonna remove the pavement that's there, straighten up the roadbed and then pave?
Go ahead.
This.
That's correct, yeah, that's removal of existing pavement, redressing the roadbed, and yes, 2 lifts.
Excellent.
Nice. Okay, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor? And thank you for all that you could do. Of all the projects that you've done, Mr. Evans, there's probably been only one other I can think of that got as much attention as sidewalks on Spring Street. So I know that so for the public to know, when you're a village our size and you're getting that sort of work done, and we have to follow the procurement process, so that, we comply with all of those regulations. There's not often many companies that will come out of their way to a small municipality to do a small job. And often what it depends on is relationships, that once all of the paperwork's done and approvals given, so I know that you were working very hard. You were also frustrated many days when things happened that the concrete didn't show. It's there, it looks great. The complaints have stopped, but thank you very much for your resilience and persistence. It was very much appreciated. All right, so that is that. Information items, just for information, is the Q3 updates moved by Councillor Cardy, seconded by Councillor Aragona, that council received the Public Works Q3 update for information. Any comments or questions on it, Councillor Crapper, and then Councillor Aragona?
I really appreciate the report and seeing the activities that have happened is helpful. I'm wondering if we could consider adding a section that you might call risks and challenges or something in the public works domain that would give us a little heads up on things that maybe didn't get done, but you wish they had, or you recognize are going to need to get done, and we better start thinking about it. Would be a nice place for that stuff for me anyway, and being able to contextualize. So all this work's been done, but our head of public works is identifying some things coming up that are just flags for us.
So where are we with our, everybody's head went down, asset management plan? We've got Brandon here as well, because that is much more complex, but that would answer all Councillor Crapper's questions.
Certainly,
Yeah, go ahead.
As council will recall, at the beginning of this year, they approved PSD citywide to update the asset management plan to be in compliance with the level of service legislation that went through July, and to put on council's agenda a 10-year capital plan with respect to all of the asset management plan and the infrastructure. That is in final draft right now, so staff are just finalizing it, and then we're gonna bring it back to council as soon as it's complete. But as far as the projected issues or concerns, I'll defer to Peter to answer that part.
Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, so I think it'd be something that I wouldn't be against playing around with. I think it might be take a little bit of time to feel out what's a risk? Comes quickly to mind, one of the grants we apply for, they make you specify a risk for the project, and usually we grab something like, well, we haven't secured the final financing. Whereas, like, if I put that in a risk here, maybe financing isn't the right one for this report. And it sounds like maybe you're looking more for, we think something's gonna fail, or, it might take a little bit of time to get the nuance down, but they balancing real risks and.
Yeah.
And
Fair enough, go
I,
ahead.
I hear you. So the quarterly reports that I used to deal with, it was more a chance, it wasn't necessarily a risk that people go, oh my. It was a chance for the person in the department had to be able to go, to think a little bit, beyond what was done and share things that perhaps that are just a little less concrete. They don't have to be, the risk may not even be the right word. It could be challenges or just, just food for thought.
Okay. Fair enough, Councillor Carr.
Through your worship, following up on Councillor Crapper's idea here, I think that I myself think that's a good idea because as we've matured as a village, there's a lot of things that there's the must have and the wanna have. And I think we're well along the list in the must have things are starting to shape up. But I agree that there should be some place there where the manager of public works could bring something to council and say, you know, this, we don't absolutely have to do it, but here's the advantages of doing it, the disadvantages of not doing it. I think that kind of a wish list to give council, there's some leeway in interjecting into, put some niceties to the asset management plan. I know we have to do what we have to do, but God forbid you'd ever find a few extra dollars and there's something high on the list, on the want list that could make the village a better place to live and make things better for the residents. I think that's a good idea, that if you had the list and you never accomplished anything on it, at least it's a goal out there and it's information for the people that are interested in what happens in the village.
Okay. I'm gonna call a question then, it's for information, all in.
So can I just make a follow up? Sorry, just, maybe it's, so like page 39, so to speak, one Holder sidewalk machine is out for repairs. Is that a normal maintenance or is it something that's unexpected? Is that something along the lines you mean, Councillor Crapper?
I mean, it could. I mean, it's just, and rather than a list of all it could be for our CA's quarterly report or reports too, that things, not just so much a list of the things accomplished. That's great. We need to know those things and it's really impressive. But a little place, a spot where they get to think a little bit and share with us ideas of things that they believe we should be thinking about too or aware of.
Okay, I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you. All right, bylaws. 10.1, bylaw is the connection fee bylaw. Moved by Councillor Aragona, seconded by Councillor Cardy, that bylaw 2025-14 being a bylaw to impose water and wastewater capital charges upon the owners and occupants of land within the village of Westport for all new connections to municipally operated water and wastewater works be read a first, second, and third time and finally passes 18th day of November 2025. Comments? I'll call the question, all in favor? Carry. Very good, thank you. Bylaw 10.2, we're gonna defer 10.2, as we just talked about, that's public property use policy. I defer. So that takes us to number 11, any notices of motion tonight? Number 12, any announcements?
That was great.
Announcements for the public. Friday night, the annual tree lighting ceremony at Town Hall. That's where we'll have some carol singing. 5 o'clock, Town Hall, this Friday, and the councillors will be serving hot cider. So come and visit with your friends, your neighbors, council. If you've got questions, it's a great opportunity because we're all here. That's Friday. Then the next day, Saturday, is Santa Claus Parade. And we have such a terrific group of staff that they put together these crazy ideas for us every year. And this year is no different. we will be there fulfilling the crazy idea of staff again. That's enough teasing. Hopefully you'll come out and see us, but we love being part of the parade. And changing my hat on Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. The community choir has their Christmas concert at Knox. And this year they've got a couple of really nice additions. We've got a couple of young people who are performing, one violin, one piano. And we have a group called Celtic at Heart, which are two singers. And if you, I think it's circulating on Facebook, one of the women also plays the fiddle and the bagpipes. So that's Knox at 3 on Sunday. And then you're back to work on Monday. Anybody else have an announcement? All right. Questions from the public, from the media? All right, confirmatory bylaw, moved by Councillor Aragona, seconded by Councillor Cardy, that bylaw 2025-36 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings at its meetings held on November 4th and 18th be read a first, second, and third time, and finally passes 18th day of November 2025. All in favor? Carried. And the adjournment, moved by Councillor Cardy, seconded by Councillor Aragona, that this meeting of the Council of the Village of Westport be adjourned at 5:30 p.m. All in favor?